For 10 days, the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie felt like a crime committed by a phantom. There were no witnesses, no struggle caught on tape. Just a 45-minute window of silence and a pacemaker signal that simply stopped beating. But on Tuesday night, February 10th, 2026, the silence was shattered. The Pima County Sheriff and FBI Director Kash Patel released images that have become the face of a national nightmare. In a series of grainy frames recovered through what experts call a forensic miracle, the world finally looked into the eyes of the man who stood on Nancy Guthrie's porch. This wasn't just a lead, it was the face of the monster, and its release triggered a tactical mobilization unlike anything Arizona has seen in decades. For more true crime stories like this, hit the subscribe button. The recovery of this footage is the most alarming technical detail of the case. Investigators originally told the public that no video existed because Nancy's Nest camera subscription had lapsed, meaning no data was saved to the cloud. However, the FBI's digital forensic unit, working with private sector partners, managed to pull residual data from back-end systems. These were digital echoes, fragmented packets of video that were never officially saved, but remained in the server's buffer. What these fragments show is a predator who was as methodical as he was bold. At 1:47 a.m., the suspect approaches the front door. He is wearing a full ski mask, tactical gloves, and a heavy backpack. Most chillingly, he is seen with a visible handgun holster and a bite light, a small tactical flashlight held in the mouth to keep both hands free. The video reveals a level of calm that has horrified behavioral analysts. The suspect doesn't rush. He first tries to block the camera with a gloved fist. When that fails, he reaches down into Nancy's own decorative planters, tearing out handfuls of vegetation and stuffing them into the camera's housing to create a manual blackout. He used the victim's own home to blind her security. As he leans in for one final check, his eyes reflect the light, staring directly into the lens with a cold, predatory focus. This is the moment the investigation shifted from a search for a missing person to a hunt for a specific, armed individual who spent nearly 45 minutes inside that house. The release of this video was the tripwire for a massive law enforcement escalation. Within minutes of the footage going live, the Pima County Sheriff's SWAT team was seen mobilizing, with Bearcat armored vehicles rolling out in a high-speed convoy. Simultaneously, reports surfaced that the FBI's elite hostage rescue team, HRT, had landed in Tucson. This level of force is only authorized when a high-value target is located, or when a victim's life is believed to be in immediate, extreme danger. Adding to the tension is a new, bizarre detail found on Nancy's front door, a business card from an Adult Protective Services, APS, investigator. This card has been seen in multiple news shots, leading to the alarming question of whether Nancy was already in fear for her safety before the abduction. Was she being targeted for elder abuse? Did the kidnapper know a social worker had been to the house? The presence of that card suggests that the inner circle vetting, including DNA samples taken from her gardener and pool cleaner, is a hunt for someone who knew Nancy was a vulnerable target. As the Tuesday night lights flashed across Tucson, a strange anomaly occurred in the digital world. While the world watched the $6 million Bitcoin wallet, a measly $300 was suddenly deposited into the account. Investigators believe this wasn't the family, but a home sleuth or a digital vulture testing the wallet's validity. The massive gap between a $6 million demand and a $300 deposit suggests that the ransom notes may have been a separate, opportunistic crime, while the man with the bite light, the true kidnapper, has remained terrifyingly silent. For more true crime stories like this, hit the subscribe button. Just hours after the bite light footage went viral, the investigation turned toward the Mexican border. Late Tuesday night, a massive law enforcement presence descended on Rio Rico, Arizona, a town 60 miles south of Tucson and less than 15 miles from the international border. In a court-authorized search, FBI agents and Pima County deputies swarmed a local residence while a man was detained during a high-stakes traffic stop. For a few fleeting hours, the nation held its breath. Was this the man from the porch? Was Nancy Guthrie finally coming home? But as the sun rose over the desert, a new, conflicting story emerged. the DoorDash defense. The detention in Rio Rico is the most significant physical breakthrough in 11 days. The Pima County Sheriff confirmed that a man was taken into custody for questioning following a traffic stop. NBC and Fox News Digital quickly identified the individual as a non-family member, a man whose vehicle supposedly matched a vehicle of interest seen on surveillance at a Circle K gas station near the Guthrie property. However, the detention was met with immediate pushback. The man, identified by his family as Carlos Palazuelos, was reportedly out delivering DoorDash with his family in the car when he was surrounded by tactical teams. His mother-in-law, Josefina, stood outside the home as it was being searched by the FBI's evidence response team, telling reporters, "He is a good man. He wouldn't do anything like this." She claimed the police were acting on a tip that Nancy was being held inside their house. While Carlos was being interrogated, the FBI's search of the Rio Rico property yielded the most devastating news of the night. They have not found Nancy Guthrie. The raid netted a person of interest, but it did not net a rescue. This suggests that if the man in custody is involved, he is merely a brute force hire, a person paid to snatch Nancy and hand her over to a secondary crew. While the interrogation in Rio Rico continued, the FBI began a secondary quiet sweep of the neighborhood surrounding Annie Guthrie, Nancy's oldest daughter. For the first time, agents were seen canvassing the streets where Nancy had her last dinner, looking for additional doorbell footage from the night of January 31st. The focus on Annie's neighborhood, combined with the consensual search of her home over the weekend, points to a disturbing investigative theory. The kidnapper may have followed Nancy home from her daughter's house, not the airport. The clock is now working against Nancy's survival. At 84, every hour without her heart medication is a catastrophic risk. The 12-hour return promise in the original ransom note has long since passed. The FBI's $50,000 reward remains unclaimed, and the billboards are now active from San Diego to El Paso. As we move into day 12, the face of the monster from the video is etched into the public consciousness. Whether the man in Rio Rico is the intruder or just a delivery driver in the wrong place at the wrong time, the pressure is at a breaking point. For Savannah Guthrie, the hour of desperation is no longer about the money. It's about whether her mother is still on this side of the border. And as always, you've been watching True Crime Story Vault, where every story is told with facts, empathy, and respect for those who can no longer speak for themselves. For more true crime stories like this, hit the subscribe button, like, and comment your thoughts below. Until next time, remember, the truth is never buried.